So I've covered all of Dario Argento's films from Cat o' Nine Tails to Opera, except for Four Flies on Grey Velvet, and now The Bird with the Crystal Plumage from 1970, or the Italian title El Uccello dalle Plume di Cristallo. Maybe. This movie was Dario Argento's directorial debut. He wrote and directed this. Even though I like The Cat o' Nine Tails a little bit better out of his three Animal Trilogy movies, I think this one has the best atmosphere, the best tension building, the best mystery, and the best reveal, in my opinion. Now, there were Giallo films before this one. We had Mario Bava in the early 60s with the pretty much the first Giallo film, The Evil Eye or The Girl Who Knew Too Much. And then a year later, he did Blood and Black Lace, which is considered one of the greatest Giallos of all time. You also had Fulci doing his first Giallo, what's it called? One on Top of the Other, or a Perversion Story, it's also called. In 69, you had Umberto Lenzi doing a few Giallos, Orgasmo, So Sweet, So Perverse, and I forget the other one. Antonio Margheriti did a few Giallos, and some other directors. So Argento was not the first. But with this movie coming out in Italy, it became so popular and did so well. This is the film that kickstarted the whole Giallo craze in Italy of the 70s. And even though it doesn't have Argento's real over the top kills and gore and his real eccentric lighting and color usage like in Suspiria, Inferno, he still has excellent taste in all of his sets, all the locations, all the wallpaper, the patterns, the floor patterns. The camera work is excellent in this movie. The directing's excellent. The score is by Ennio Morricone, who's done hundreds of movies, too many to even name. And he also did his other two Animal Trilogy films, The Cat o' Nine Tails and Four Flies. Brief plot synopsis. We have Sam, who is an American writer living in Rome, and he's with his girlfriend Julia, who's played by Suzy Kendall, who was in a few Giallos. Torso by Sergio Martino, a Lenzi movie. Was it Paranoia? Spasmo. That's the other one Suzy Kendall is in. She's gorgeous, and she's the girlfriend of Sam. So Sam's walking along one night, and he ends up passing an art gallery, and it's gorgeous. The whole art gallery, all the sculptures in it too, and he ends up witnessing an attempted murder. She survives. All he saw was a killer, couldn't see the face. He had the black gloves. The killer also uses a straight razor, which became a staple of Giallo films. And then he has to work with the cops as he's being attacked several times to try to figure out the mystery. And there's something that he doesn't remember, that he can't recall, that'll lead him to figuring it all out. And that's something that we see in a lot of Giallos, but in a lot of Argento movies too. Think Deep Red. But yeah, there are some tense scenes in this movie. The whole scene with Julia in the apartment when the killer is trying to get in and is tormenting her.
You will not leave this house alive.
That's great. And I love how the bird, there's a rare bird with the crystal plumage. I forget what type of bird it is. I think it was just made up. But there's an actual bird in the movie. And it's an important plot device. It leads to the reveal. And I was just thinking, out of his three films in the Animal Trilogy, this movie is the only one to have an actual animal that's in the movie and tied to the title. The Cat o' Nine Tails, there's no cat. The Cat o' Nine Tails refers to the 9 leads that the characters have to try to figure out who the killer is. And in Four Flies on Grey Velvet, the flies are a description of the what is it, a retinal scan, right? That looks like there's 4 bumps that look like flies on a gray background. So that's symbolic. This movie has an actual bird. So that's The Bird with the Crystal Plumage by Dario Argento from 1970. We just have Four Flies on Gray Velvet left, and then we can go past opera.